Okay. All right, perfect. I did it right. Well, you always get nervous when you try to start something and then you always get an error on Zoom.
Yep. There's always like 10 seconds where you're like, oh, did I do it? Is anyone going to show up?
Yeah, looks good. Okay. So I'm gonna give it like 1 or 2 minutes just to let everyone get in before doing a quick intro and then getting into it. I did not prep a intro or like I guess, question of the day. So maybe we'll just
Oh,
one. Oh, okay, Amber, do you have
I
one?
got one. I got one. Let's talk about the weather. How hot is it where you are?
Oh, well, I'm in New York City and it's raining and it's cold.
Nice. I feel like you're lucky. It's also raining here, so I'm lucky too. It's like 100 in Chicago, I think.
Really? Is anyone in
Mhm.
Chicago? Let's do like 1 more minute and then I'll just jump into it. What's it like where you're at right now in Kentucky?
We had a storm.
Oh, okay.
Really nice. It was a really scary storm, though.
Maybe it's coming our way. I think it's supposed to rain
Mhm.
tomorrow, like all day today and tomorrow. Okay. I am gonna get started. If anyone else jumps in later, that's totally fine. Just gonna start with a quick intro to myself. If you don't know me, my name is Justine. I work in product marketing here at UserGems, and I come with a little bit of a unique experience to these types of sessions because I started at UserGems quite early on and as a CSM. So I was managing all of our first clients, doing all of our first implementations and setup. I've seen the product evolve a lot over the last 2 years. And I have a really good inclination of what works, what doesn't work, what kind of varies between our customers' industries, who they sell to, what personas did they sell to, what does their product look like. So we have learned a lot over the last 2 years, and a lot of what I'm trying to do with these sessions is to bring not only like what is new with our product and some product updates, but some type of actionable and tangible piece of advice that I've learned or our customers have learned over the last couple of months that hopefully will make your UserGems campaigns or programs run even better than they are today. So in today's session, we're always going to start out with any types of new features and products. So I do have a couple of those to share. So I'll run through some really cool releases that we've just had. And then the lesson, or the lightning lesson, as we're calling them today, is about messaging. So we here at UserGems are really lucky because we can use our own product. And it comes with a lot of positives in the fact that we are first beta testers on everything. But it also has a little bit of a double-edged sword because we're always reworking and trying to redo our messaging, our routing. How do we want to segment these? What's working, what's not working? And our ADR leader, Sarah, works so hard doing A/B testing on our messaging. And creating new workflows. And I'll walk through like what we do here at UserGems, what we found works, what we found maybe doesn't work so well. And along with what we use here, I've also, of course, managed and seen a lot of successful customers with us. And so I'll bring in some things that work for some of our other customers. And then hopefully you can take maybe a couple tidbits of all of it and see what might apply in your own campaigns. So 2 product updates that I'm going to go through. I'll go through them both individually. First, I want to walk through how to automate job changes into sequencing. We can support currently Outreach, and we'll be able to support SalesLoft as well. So right now, SalesLoft is in beta. If anyone has SalesLoft and wants to try this out, please send me an email. I'd love to help you walk through it. And then the second one is really new to us. And this is kind of, again, going off of how we're really lucky and get to test our own product. We wanted to test some of our prospects that picked a competitor. And we wanted to see what was going on in those accounts and see if it helped us win a deal in the future. So this is really early on in us, but we have released it to customers as well. So if you've ever been thinking about keeping tabs of your target accounts that have went with a competitor, feel free to stick around and I can show you what you can do with them. So we're now able to automate into outreach sequences. I see we have a question in the chat, so I'm wondering if I should take that now or after. We can save it for after. So it doesn't look like we're able to play the video. I don't know what's happening.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. Basically what the video showed was the workflow within UserGems of how you can fully automate different segments of your job changers, depending on where they came from and where they went, directly into Outreach or SalesLoft without needing like an automation tool or some type of really customized formula in Salesforce. And basically the workflow of what it looks like is you would pick your bucket of people. So in this sense, we're saying it's new business and they joined a target account. And so what we can do now in UserGems is say, if anyone who matches my persona joins my target account, I'm going to automatically add them to this UserGem sequence that says, congrats on your new job, without the ADR or your SDR team having to do anything. The only action item that would be required of them is if the first step in that sequence is a manual step. So basically what we're doing is we're eliminating now this process of your SDR having to go in, look at their UserGem, and then add them to a sequence. We're now automating that process. So all they'll need to do is go into their Outreach or their SalesLoft, and they can carry on their sequence or cadence from there rather than skipping from Salesforce to looking at the contact, to adding them to SalesLoft, and then going to SalesLoft. Again, if you have any information about this one, our CSMs can help you set it up. If you have SalesLoft, reach out to me or your CSM. We're really excited to get that one off the ground. This next one is something we released this month, and we released it for our own sales team because they requested it. So we, of course, are releasing it to all of our customers. So if you're familiar with how to track accounts in UserGems, we now have a new category called competitor. And what you'll do here is upload a Salesforce report of closed lost opt to competitor. So however you note that within your Salesforce, for ours, we have like a closed lost reason and it could say competitor. You can pull in all of those into Salesforce report, upload them into UserGems. And what we can do here is two different things. So the way that we're using this today is if a gem, so one of our previous champions, joins this customer or this prospect account that went with a competitor. And you can do a few different things with this person. So you can reach out to them, congratulate them on their job change. You know, it was great working with you with this company. Congrats on your new role at Acme. They actually went with our competitor. How is it going? And try to get a little bit of intel on, are they happy with them? When does the contract end? What are some types of gaps that they're seeing? What did they think they were going to get with the product that maybe they didn't end up getting from the sales process? And use that person to internally champion for you, even if it takes a little while to potentially now take the deal back from the competitor. Definitely still leverage them, keep the relationship going. If anything, it'll just be a warmer introduction if you do ever try to re-engage that prospect. Then the next way that you can use this is, sorry, can you go back one second? Sorry. The second way that you can use this particular category is tracking when new executives join that company. So it's a little bit colder than if a gem joins your target account. However, new executives still have that mindset of, I need to make a change and I'm evaluating all of my tech stack. If for whatever reason the competitor is underperforming or isn't necessarily doing exactly what this new executive wants to do, this is a good way to shake things up. And this person might actually be looking at other tech stack anyway. So reaching out to congratulate them and educating them on what your product does, even if you know that they went with a competitor, could still be a really great part to educate this new executive on your product and what problems that your product solves that maybe could elevate a little bit better than the competitor that they ended up going with at the time. So jumping into the lightning lesson, and I'll take Q&A at the end, just so it's all in one place. We're going to be talking about what messaging works. And to understand what messaging works, I'm going to first show what UserGems playbook looks like, how we work our own UserGems job changes, and what our sequences look like. But I'm also going to talk through what the job changer mindset looks like, because a lot of the messaging that we use has to do with the analysis of what happens in someone's life on their first 30, 60, 90 days at a new job. So this right here is how UserGems works UserGems. We call it UG for UG. Basically what happens here is a gem joins a company. So someone from a customer account, an end user, joins a new company, which falls within our ICP. And we then separate them based on, is this a current open op or is this net new business? And then we also segment it by title. And the reason being is that anyone director plus is going to have a more in-depth and personalized sequence than someone who is a manager or IC. And the ask actually might be a little bit different depending on how big that org is. We also then separate it in the first step here, as you can see, director, manager, and then we do open op. Anything that goes to an open op is routed to our AEs. They do use outreach. I know that's a little bit different in some orgs. So our AEs will also have their own sequences for deal acceleration. So after it's routed to the correct person based on opportunity type or lack of opportunity, they both work through outreach in terms of adding them to a sequence. And I'll walk through how long our sequences are and what messaging we use in order to try to book a meeting. So here's some of our more recent sequence results. We actually just updated these. So if you've seen something similar, these are slightly different. We just redid our UG for UG, as I mentioned that we call it, sequences recently. Our open rates are generally over 70% or hovering around there, depending on what segment you land in. So as you can see, like the past prospects have around like an 11% response rate, but our champions, so our highest tier, that first director level plus champion, has around a 23% response rate, and that hovers around 20 to 30%. So it's extremely high in terms of response rates for any type of outbound. Outbounding is hard, and messaging is even harder. Trying to figure out what works, especially because you're trying to get into the mind of somebody who has 100 sales emails because they're all getting congrats on your new role. Here's my product. Would you like to take a demo? And the difference here that you have to think about is it's not unheard of for them to get other vendors' emails, congratulate them on a job change. What we're really focusing on is this past relationship that you had with this person and that this person had with you and your company at their last job. So we really want to make a good first impression in the first 90 days, but you don't want to hammer them into taking a demo, taking a meeting, doing a referral, whatever the action item is. And we want to be mindful that they're settling into their new role and they're kind of getting the lay of the land. They're trying to set goals and trying to figure out like what types of tech am I going to bring over. They have budget that they're willing to spend, but they're new to this org and they're not really sure how to spend it yet. So something that we found out recently with a webinar with Trust Radius is that one of the most common buying reasons are buyers are relying on their prior experiences in order to make decisions. And people who have used your company in the past are 3 to 5 times more likely to convert. And then something else to keep in mind is these people are really overwhelmed. I think if you can put yourself in the first day of your new job that you're in right now, you have no idea what the hell is going on. And it's one of those things where you're walking a fine line between, I know that I can help this person and I know that they like my product because they've used this in the past, But also I need to be mindful that they're probably not thinking about me the same way that I'm thinking about them. This graph here is our UG for UG steps broken down into our response rates. So our sequence, they vary between 40 and 65 days, depending on the segment. They're very long, and it's to consider that 90-day period of someone changing a job and drinking through a fire hose. So we do have, as you can see, overall higher response rates, but they don't always come from the first, second, or third step. We actually see our highest response rates in steps around 3 to 8, but most of our sequences do have 12 or more steps. So something to think through here is if your sequences are maybe longer, but only have 5 steps, to consider expanding that to at least 8 to 10. Or if your sequences are under 45 days, to expand those out to hit at least that like 30, 60, 90-day period. Anywhere in that 60-day range would be really, really beneficial. Something I should actually mention here, sorry, Amber, we can go back 1 second. We offer a gift in our first step, and it's very, very popular. However, if you do not have the budget for gifting, or you do not have a gifting platform, that is not detrimental to this campaign at all. Actually, what we would recommend instead is sending a piece of relevant content that helps them in the first 30 days of their new job. So there is a difference here between sending a relevant piece of content to this person and sending a piece of relevant content to this person that's relevant in the first 30 days. So something that I see customers do end up making a little bit of a lower response rate is because they're sending like a piece of blog content that is great, but maybe not relevant or something that's not going to impact them right now. So I would recommend, if you are going to send some type of relevant content, to make sure it's like, how does what my problem solves, right? That problem that my product solves, sorry, impact this person right now that they can then think about in their 30, 60, 90 that they're about to present in their own life. So some quick do's and don'ts. Don't ask them for a demo right away. It's really, really, really tempting to say, congrats on your new job. Would you like to have a coffee for 15 minutes and talk about how my product can now benefit you at your new role? Don't fall for it thinking that they loved your product and will take the time or take the demo. Think back again to that buyer mindset slide, and understand what their life looks like right now, and meet them where they are. Congratulations, here's a gift. Congratulations, here's a piece of relevant content to jumpstart your first 30 days at your new job. And then wait. And then I'll talk to you a little bit later about how we then engage after the wait. Don't forget to follow up. Again, at least 5 steps in a sequence. Again, most success here is between steps 3 and 8. Our sequences are 12 to 16 steps long. We also are big fans of multi-threading here. So something that you can do here is reach out to the rest of the buying committee when a gem joins a new company. So what we do here is internally, we use this relationship with this person to drive credibility with the rest of the buying committee. Hey, we used to work with John at Acme. I know he just joined your team. He's awesome. This is what we were working on. Looking forward to catching up with him while he's there. This is what my product helps with. So getting to know the buyer committee along with the outreach that you're doing with your champion is going to end up being really impactful, as the buyer committees today are ending up being 8, 10, 12 people. Do always lean on the past relationship that you had with this person at their past company. Congratulating them on a job change is great and it's personalized, but it's not enough to stick out. And tailoring your message based on the past relationship is actually rather scalable using the UserGems custom fields. So we use a lot of our own custom fields, like past company, past CSM. You can use any of these types of formula fields in Outreach or SalesLoft to at scale personalize. Oh, I know you're at this company. You worked with this person. We're going to miss you. It really helps stick out in a flooded inbox. So here's our 3 best performing subject lines for this play. Congrats first name has been around for a long time for our UG, and nothing outperforms it. And it's super scalable. It's really easy. It sticks out right in front of the inbox. It's truthfully one of the great ones. And then the other 2 that we do use in like one or the other of is your experience with my company. So it'll say your experience with UserGems, or your experience at past company, your experience at Acme. These 2 are also really high, specifically because of the personalization, and it's personalization that you can do at scale using the UserGems custom fields that you already have in your CRM. So here's our sequence format for our top performing outreach sequence, which is past champion, joins a target account, and is a director plus. So this is kind of like our creme de la creme ICP. It's 14 steps, 48 days, 10 emails, 2 LinkedIn steps, and 2 calls. We do have calling ADRs here. If you don't, you can skip the calls and you can add in another email or more LinkedIn steps. The LinkedIn steps, which I don't have in any of these slides, are connecting or following this prospect and then engaging with their LinkedIn posts. It is not in mailing them and asking them for a demo. So that's something that I should make really clear here, is that the way that we use LinkedIn is primarily to keep top of mind, to keep that keep in front of them, sharing posts about UserGems or about whatever will help them kind of keep the name top of mind, and will help later on in their prospecting. So that's how our ADRs here use the LinkedIn steps. So we, of course, have congrats first name. That's our first email. We use, again, all of our custom UserGems fields that come with our package. So the previous company field, current company, and then we do a gift. You don't have a gifting step, send them a piece of relevant content. That applies to their first 30 days of the job. And then we wait 14 days, which is sometimes I tell that to a customer and they like shrivel up and die inside of their body. They're like, why are we waiting 2 weeks? We need to get the sale. We have to drive urgency. We need to have pipeline generated, and I get it. But what we found works is this wait step, and ours is 2 full weeks. Try 7 days if that sounds too long. Maybe extend it to 10 and then go up to 14. What we found works best is 14 days. And then again, it's more so no ask. Hope you're settling in nicely. Like, is there a potential fit? Do a little bit of digging in those first 2 emails. The first one is congratulations, I'm not asking you for anything. The second one is more of like a gentle, is there a fit? The way that we work the rest of our sequences is then we will start trying to get a demo or referral. And then towards the end, which is on the next slide here, we'll do 2 things. Maybe they're not the right person at this new company. So we'll ask them to refer us to somebody else. And now this is something that can say like, is someone else on your team, maybe do a little bit of research and find a specific person. Or if you think this would be a fit, could you refer me to the right person at your new company? So just asking for pointers rather than coming straight out and saying like, you're not answering me, can you point me to someone else that might? Be a little bit cautious of the referral ask and do it in the right way. And then the other part that I will say is people have love-hates with breakup emails. People actually really do not like them. So I put a meaningful breakup email in here. And essentially what we do is just once again remind them of the previous relationship. Like, since you used us, like, thought it might make sense. I know it's not the best time. However, here's a resource for you. And let me know if I can ever be of help for you in the future. And then something that we're testing out here is closed loss sequences. So we will re-engage this prospect either 3 or 6 months from now. So if you have any type of like automated sequence for closed or not closed loss, like closed lost or like a re-engagement, something in maybe like an automated marketing platform or even an automated sales sequence, you can always put them in a re-engagement platform later. So that is all for our sequences, some of our best tips. I will share out, or Amber will actually probably share out the link to all of our playbooks that we have to share. We also are able to push, I think it's 8 sequences or cadences into Outreach or SalesLoft for you. And what you will do here is just edit them. So we can basically send you the entire template, put it in your Outreach or SalesLoft, and then all that's really up to you is editing them to make them more your product specific or your use case specific. But we give you the entire framework. So if you are interested in either changing up your sequences or doing an A/B test with some of our sequences, reach out to your CSM and we can push them into your sequencing tool for you. If you do not have Outreach or SalesLoft though, we still have them in like PDF format, which we can send over. So you can always just copy and paste into whatever sales sequencing tool that you use. Is there any questions about either of the product updates that we went through, anything about sequences, any specific questions that you have about your own sequences or any types of feedback about your messaging of what you've seen work or doesn't work? Would love to hear anything. And I see Larry wrote about automating corporate users who move to a new company. Really interesting. You can also break it down based on product type, so different product users. So let's say you work with a huge suite of products. As long as you have that field somewhere available, UserGems can add it to the new contact. So let's say you have product A and product B. We can tell you that this person changed jobs and they were a product A user. And then you can put them into a product A related sequence, which could be even more personalized based on what product they even used. So that's also something that we can do here at UserGems to make it a little bit more personalized. All right. That was all that I had. Again, if anyone has any other questions, throw them in the chat. Or you can always add me on LinkedIn if you ever just want to talk shop about your own UserGems program or campaigns that you're running. I'm always happy to meet and talk through more specifics or give any specific advice. But yeah, definitely connect with me on LinkedIn. Feel free to send me an email. I'm Justine at UserGems. But yeah, happy to help in any way.
Thanks, y'all.
So thanks everyone.
Bye.